Hey, everybody. And hello, Aaron. Your audio is live.
Hey Pat, how you doing?
I don't know if this is an impression or not.
It's just we talked earlier in the meeting about how we don't actually like doing these streams. We just have to turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
It's the show. I'm looking for the liquor that helps me get there.
Okay.
All right. All right, 1 second. I'm gonna do a double shot. You think that's fine?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's appropriate. Is like a Starbucks double shot? Because they have not kept up with their marketing payoff with us.
Do I need to I already sent somebody after them, but I don't know that we heard back. Do I need to go bust some heads myself?
Yeah. The I was kind of expecting you to do a Barney Fife esque, you know, now, hold on. I'm thinking back to Mayberry, right? And Barney Fife, I remember Barney Fife drinking alcohol and then grimacing and going like smooth. But also, that show was way back in the day. Why would they have a police officer drinking a shot of whiskey? Did I dream that?
No, that sounds correct, especially since Disco we're searching for a bottle of booze. So yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Okay. Okay.
Now, you said Mayberry, isn't that the Andy Griffith show?
Yeah, isn't that where Barney Fife is from?
Yeah, but what is Mayberry?
Oh, right. Mayberry's the town.
Oh, all right. Okay. Is this gonna be our opening bullshit? Do I have to turn it on? Oh, wait, are we live?
We are live. Sorry.
Oh, hey there, Pat. I'm so excited to be here. Oh boy. Disco, huh? Yeah, it's gonna be great. I don't think they noticed.
No, no, they didn't notice. They didn't
All
notice.
right, all right, cool. Yeah, this is gonna be a good time.
So I hold on. Does this mean in this playthrough, instead of in this portion of the playthrough, in the 5 minutes of the game we actually get around to, after
Mhm.
talking about various things, that I, instead of a David Bowie esque shambling or mess of a cop, I should be Andy Griffith, and then you're my internal voice, which is Barney Fife.
That sounds awful.
It does sound pretty awful.
That, sound,
I
that
can
sounds really bad.
I
Like
can
on
think
knots.
of no more antithetical. I think that Disco Elysium is like the antimatter version of the Andy Griffith show. Although I'm also now thinking, because I've thought a lot over these last couple of years about like the story of like the cultural concept of like the cop narrative. Like we have all these cop shows, right?
Hmm, hmm.
And some of them are, Cops, itself came out. That was like one of the first reality TV shows. But of course, like those are edited to be interesting, and those
Hmm.
are also, I guarantee, like run past like a bunch of like police approval. Like all of the police had approvals of that. So the only things that ended up in Cops was showing them dealing with the worst, stupidest people that humanity has to offer.
Yeah.
And so you would watch that and you're like, fuck, these cops eat a ton of shit.
Hmm.
But then we have like NCIS, and we've got like, what was the one that had Nathan Fillion in it?
Firefly.
Correct. Yes, that was a trick question, and you passed it regardless. But and actually, Firefly is the only reason I went on to watch Castle. Got there on my own, but
He's actually in a new cop show called The Rookie, where he's like a 50-year-old rookie cop. And boy, let me tell you, nothing I want to see less than Nathan Fillion as an aging rookie cop.
I love Fillion.
I love him too. I don't want to see him as a cop.
Yeah. Well, now, no. But what's interesting is, I mean, I think back because, like, I dimly remember the show Hill Street Blues, which showed a police precinct back in the day. I don't remember anything about it. But, like, I think of, and I'm not really into cop drama, but, you know, there's NCIS, there's all these procedural shows, there's Law and Order, there's all of these things dealing with the criminal justice system. And the tropes that emerge are like, you know, or even here, let's bring it back home for our people. The comic series Powers, right?
Oh, wow. I haven't
Right?
thought about powers in a while.
Come along
Yeah.
with me. How much did you read?
I think I read the first three trades and I saw the first two seasons of the animated show,
Oh,
but I haven't thought about powers in a while.
I was only dimly aware of the show.
It was
But
exclusive to the PlayStation Network. That's how good it was.
is that a joke?
No,
I
I
got
wish I was joking.
I got to hear you say real beef. It was exclusive.
Here's the real beef. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. Powers TV show had a great cast. They had Shirlito Copley in the lead, but it premiered. Let's see. It premiered. It was the first PlayStation Network venture into scripted original programming. It was live action. And then it was available on Crackle. It ran for a second season, then got canceled.
Available on Crackle.
That's the real beef too. I'm not making that up.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, there's Barney Miller, there's The Wire, but like, you know, and again, I watched Castle, like, honestly, because I'm like, I just wanted to look at Nathan Fillion and not have to think too much for a while.
He's very pretty. He's a very
Yeah,
handsome man.
so pretty. And I could always, if I kind of like zoned out a little bit and I, you know, and maybe like there was a lot of background noise and I could pretend that like it was Firefly a little. Like I could pretend that this was Malcolm Reynolds having a strange dream or maybe being on a holodeck of some sort. But anyway, like, who are the bad people? You know, who's the persistent antagonist
In Powers?
well, in Powers, in Castle, in most of these cop dramas, who keeps you from doing your job as a cop in these shows?
It's usually the grizzled boss who threatens to take away your gun and your badge.
Yep.
Because you're a cop and you know how to do this the right way, but your boss says you don't play by the rules.
You don't play by the rules. You're a wildcat. You're gonna, but this person who is, and I gotta say, the antagonist, the hero of the story, it's like they know what to do to get the job done, and the system is against them. And then after your grizzled boss tells you off or threatens you or whatever, and so you just can't do it this way, Mikowski, you know, and then maybe what if you eventually win over your boss? Then who's season 2 boss? Who's the Sephiroth?
So did you actually watch season 2 of Castle? Because it was Sephiroth. They did One Winged Angel. They did a crossover. Cloud Strife, Squall Lionheart, Zidane from 9 came in. It was amazing.
I'm angry about the fact that I would watch that.
It'd be so great, wouldn't it?
You know what?
So good.
I don't want to watch it. I just want the poster for my wall.
We can commission somebody to do that.
somebody's like,
Nathan
no,
Fillion.
no spoilers, no spoilers. But here, I'm going to actually go to the chat. Who in all of these things, and I'm doing the thing that I would never do as a teacher, but I'm trying to like see if other people see what I see. In all of these long-running, scripted, like, you know, procedurals, eventually a common, like, because if you're going to get conflict, and tradition says you need conflict for one of these shows,
Hmm.
And you can have interpersonal conflict where it's like there's a will they, won't they, or there's the that's person versus person, and then you have person versus themself. Like he's struggling to like do this despite the fact that he's not qualified for it. And so hold on, somebody is like usually some form of accountability, but what is that called? But usually,
That's really good.
but what is that called in a police show?
Like
Right?
Batman?
There's the feds. The feds come in. Um, um,
It, the Feds is pretty good.
and then here it's oversight. It's internal affairs comes in, or the Dresden Files, right? Who constantly keeps Murphy from, because in a lot of ways, the Dresden Files, which again, series of novels, they're not a TV show. Like, who constantly keeps Murphy from doing what she needs to do as a police officer who's aware of the supernatural? It's internal affairs. So think of it. In all these stories, this cop who is dealing, like just doing their job, just trying to save humanity, just trying to put the bad people away, that the person who's wrong, the person they are up against is the person running the police who says, listen, there are rules here and you can't do things because it's wrong. And then if you win over the chief, then internal affairs comes in and says, hey, it seems like you fucking choked a guy out in an alley and then kicked him to get him to confess. And we think that maybe you shouldn't be a cop anymore. But that person saying that is the bad guy in this overall narrative. What has this done to what we in America? Because I guarantee, unless you have a family member or a friend or a loved one in the police force, I guarantee that all of you have watched 100 times more cop drama hour for hour than you have had interactions with cops. Now, that is assuming that you're white, it's probably, unfortunately, much less if you are not. And so, but think about this. The story we have been told for literally decades and hundreds of hours is the cop who like beats the person up or like it's like you break the video feed, right? It's like, okay, we're in the interrogation room and it's like you get your person on the camera so you can do whatever you want. And you can scare this person, you could deprive them of food, or you can rough them up. And that's what you do to do what needs to be done. And this is the only way for them to get their jobs done. And then you're like, yeah, they did it. They had to go outside the system.
It has definitely reinforced the idea that the ends justify the means, which is not correct, especially so in a police officer role.
Yes.
I always thought that Hot Fuzz did a really great thing where your hero was somebody that was there very by the book and was kind of forced into these violent natures. But yeah, man, I mean, even sitcoms where Brooklyn Nine-Nine is really fantastic in a lot of ways, but at the end of the day, there still is an ends justify the means storyline that perpetuates throughout like all 6 seasons. And at the time I was uncomfortable, and as time has gone on, even more uncomfortable.
And the thing is, this is what I constantly think about, and less constantly, but fairly persistently talk about what I think of as the ethical responsibility of the storyteller. Where, if you are going to tell a story that people are going to consume, you really need to think about how it is going to affect them. If you're doing art, if you're doing art, and actually here, Aaron, I'll tell you a story, and it's going to be a story for the people on the stream. who I point here because the chat's there, but you're also there because my camera's here. But so this is two stories, slightly different, because this is what you can do if you tell stories for a living. You can tell two stories at once to different audiences. So Aaron, you know that I was in a writer's room for a certain unnamed large media property.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Yep.
That's just vague enough.
Yep, which I have signed an NDA about and therefore cannot speak about openly.
Which NDA for everyone out there stands for no dickish actions, and we're not doing any dickish actions. Being this vague, that's the Hollywood standard term, just to educate the people on the chat.
Muffin top, though, for those of you that don't live horrible lives, NDA stands for non-disclosure arrangement.
Are you serious? I've been emailing people with really weird subject lines.
A very wrong form. Then, yeah, we might need to revise that. So I was in the room, and we were talking. And there's fancy people in this room, like well-respected, award-winning people. And we are talking about TV shows and board games and novels and video games. And I say we need to consider, if we are doing a form of interactive media, and we're not giving people something to do, if we default to the standard, it's like, well, what is the challenge that is occurring in this game? What is opposing you? And if we're just having them run around and kill things in order to collect resources to become more powerful, not a lot else matters, because you are normalizing violence, and you're saying that killing things is a means to an end. And in the world of the game, like, think of Diablo. The only way to proceed is to kill things. The only way to become powerful is to kill things.
I'm gonna play Undertale. Undertale is your vibe, Pat.
No, people tried to get me to play it before, and I went in for about an hour and a half, and I could appreciate it, but I did not enjoy it. Like, and it was too slow a start, and I say that as somebody who writes fantasy novels. But here's the thing: there was this award-winning storyteller and designer, very skilled in their field, and I said, if these are the only options we're giving people in engaging in this art, then we are normalizing violence. We are teaching people that it's okay. We're doing this, and it's like we are, we're perpetuating bad things that already exist in the culture and in the industry. And this person got very angry, like very, very angry, in this like professional setting with other people around, and came at me and said, how dare you, because, how dare you say this, and actually compared me to Trump, which was not,
what?
Yep, which was not easy to hear, because this was years and years and years ago, and Trump had just come into office, and they said, it's ridiculous to say that, games, or interactive media or stories can promote violence. This is what, and I'm like, actually, like, I've seen the studies, but I'm like, but I realized, like, they were extremely emotionally hot. And so then I went, yeah, I didn't. And then when somebody is very emotionally hot, you don't quote statistics at them. And honestly, it's just better to walk away from the conversation. And so instead, it wasn't a great scene. Like, you don't want to kind of be attacked in a professional setting for just talking about the ethical ramifications of the work you're doing. But obviously this person, had people come after them on similar subjects in ways that made it very sensitive to them. But so instead, what I said is like, are video games and board games and interactive media of all sorts, are they art? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, cool. And I go, does art influence people? And they're like, yes. And I go like, so if we can influence people, then we need to acknowledge that we can influence them in ways that are healthy and productive, or we can influence them in ways that are unfortunately negative. And then we kind of separated because like this was not getting our job done. But I've thought back on that a lot, and I'm like, and honestly, I left that thinking like, I guess I'm the asshole here because this person is really respected in the field and is here for a reason, and I'm just some book doer, you know? But I've thought back on that a lot, and as certain things happen, you know, and I realize I'm kind of wandering on the subject, but you know, it's my stream and no one here is surprised by this. You know, I think about my children growing up, and I realize that since they were born, what I've been dreading is them becoming teenagers. Because we know what teenagers are like, right? Teenagers,
They're
like
awful.
they're
Yeah.
awful. They like slam doors. They say, I never asked to be born. You're not my
They
real
listen to emo
dad.
music.
You know, they just suddenly, and then I'm like, hold on. What actual experience do I have ever seeing a teenager ever do any of that? And the answer is none. The answer is I have seen this tired, cheap stereotype portrayed for dramatic or comedic effect in every piece of media everywhere. But most of the teenagers that I have met in my friends, like my friends' kids, like, and me as a kid, I never did that. My sister did some of it, you know, right? But, and I'm like, holy shit. Am I believing a fictional construct to the extent where I find myself thinking, okay, I've got 18 more good months with my older child before they turn 13 and then they're going to be a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is why television is dangerous. Like, and not just fraught. I'm going to say straight up dangerous. We learn by observing the world. And these days, you know, especially this last 18 months, how many hours of actually observing and interacting with other humans have any of you had compared to watching media? And the vast majority of media is written under deadline by people who don't give a shit, overseen by people who only care about money, you know? And so it's cheap, easy stereotypes. And that's how we get racism and sexism just permeating everything, you know? And that's how we get like these beliefs that like soak into us like radon or lead in our water. And it makes us bad, you know? Like I have been afraid, like I felt the same thing about having a child before I ever had a child, because like how do you see children, like infants portrayed in movies? They just scream and shit all the time. And newsflash, they don't. Like children are, by and large, like delightful sources of joy and cuddle. They are warm lumps. If little children, if infants were horrible, squealing shitbags all the time, we would not have survived as a species, and we would have fucking devoured them because, you know, they take a lot of work, and the reward is their love and affection and all the joyous, warm fuzzies. Like, we're being constantly sold a false bill of goods by all these things we interact with. It's just wild. The more I think of it, it's so perilous. All of this media that we consume.
See, I think perilous is a nice way to put it. I think a lot of media is pessimistic.
Yeah.
And I say that because there's a lot of stuff that you'll see in movies and TV where people are dealing with conflict because a lot of narrative is always based on conflict. Um, Usually exaggerated to a point that is just unrealistic. And that's why I really love shows like Schitt's Creek, because a lot of the conflicts are very small interpersonal things that can just be solved by talking. And Schitt's Creek is so fantastic because the people on that show talk to each other. They communicate. And typically what would be a big, huge issue in one of these sitcoms like Modern Family can really just be resolved by talking it out and being upfront and real about your feelings with somebody else and saying, "Hey, this bugged me. Can we work it out?" 9 times out of 10, it's been my experience that if you are calm, cool, and collected and talk about something, things are fine. And to circle back, uh, media is pessimistic, but if you go into a situation expecting it to be bad, it's probably going to be bad. If you go into a situation and you are optimistic about it, if you're open to not always adhering to a plan, if you're open to pivoting on something, then you're going to find that so many things in life can just be resolved much more easily. And it's funny. It's funny that you bring up like kids in media always being portrayed as being problematic and whiny and very teenager like, right? Uh, I saw I saw a movie a few years ago. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, called Booksmart, and it was one of the first times that I looked at a cast and I said, this is how teenagers act. They're smarter than we give credit for. Like they know how to navigate complex social situations, especially now because they're so online all the time. And to put that in contrast with stuff like literally anything I saw from 2000 to 2010, it's so much better. So I'm hopeful that media is getting better,
Yeah.
but I think it's on people like you in the writers' rooms and the production staff to call that shit out when it happens, because we don't give kids enough credit. We really don't. They are smarter than we give them credit for. They observe adults for such a long time that they know how to talk to us. They know how to navigate those situations. It's when we really don't give them the room to breathe or the room to express themselves that they then start straddling that line of the stereotype.
Yeah. Well, and again, think of what it's like as a younger kid growing up, and you watch these shows and you're like, "Oh, well that's what a teenager is like, I guess. I guess I'll end up there." In the same way that like the patriarchy hurts everyone, like toxic masculinity at least has a term for it. And we could be like, well, maybe I shouldn't be a dude about this and go to the hospital, which, to be fair here, right? I always go to the hospital, like drop of a hat. But we don't have a term for talking about like how kids shows show kids to kids, because you want to see yourself in the world. And then you're like, I started a book and it's rare, but I read a lot of kid lit these days so that I can sort of scan it for what I think of as cultural poison. And as a result, I get to experience wonderful books like Sal and Gabby, Save the Universe by Carlos
Carlos, right?
Hernandez. They're
Carlos is so
amazing.
good.
I recommend those books to anyone, but doubly so for parents looking for good books for kids. My boys love them, and I love them. So smart. So smart without in any way being preachy. But then I picked up this other book, and it's got like a billion sequels. And I'm like, and somebody recommended it to me when I was doing some Christmas shopping. And I'm not going to name it because it's shitty for an author to like slam on books. But but it's the story thieves. And actually, it occurred to me that like, no, I'm like, wait, if it's bad, I should say, hey, no, to be fair, I read I listened to on audio, but the main character, who's a guy, like a boy, like, is utterly self-focused to a cartoonish degree. He's selfish and self-centered and manipulative, and he meets a girl who can like go into books, and like the first thing that he ignores her repeated warnings and does a thing so he can be famous. And like really like, and I'm like, and I keep being like, when's this going to turn around? And it's like, nope, he's just like that. And she is just constantly wants to be his friend. And I'm like, why? I am angry. I'm angry. And I'm like, I'm not going to I bought this book. I was going to give it to my boy. I'm like, well, I'm not giving it to my boy. And I'm like, what do I do with this? Do I donate it to the library? Do I take it to Goodwill? I'm like, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't want other kids to read it either. Like, this shows extremely bad behavior from the protagonists, you know? And it's just, and the thing is, like, it probably is better now. I remember some of the books I read growing up, so much bad stuff. Like, I loved Dragon Riders, but man, they are rapey, and like everything is violence, and like it just breaks my heart, because those were the first books where it's like, oh, there's dragons but science, you know, and mystery and a whole world, and it was just marvelous. And I mean that in the oldest, coolest sense of the word. I marveled at those books. But also probably a lot of the cultural ways that gender was portrayed and sexuality, that wasn't healthy for me at all.
No, gosh, I know I told you that I stayed up till 4 a.m. reading a book earlier this week. And it was the first book in the Grishaverse, Shadow and Bone, because Liz and I barreled through season 1 on Netflix, and I just love it. I am so excited to know more about it. But the thing that I noticed in the Netflix adaptation is that it's fairly diverse. And like in just the end of the first episode, I was like, why can't every show just like, it's so easy, just like cast people that aren't the same. And then I go back and I read stuff that I loved as a kid, and I'm like, it's so beige. I don't want beige in my art. I want a rainbow. I want color. And it's very difficult for me to go back to even like comics that I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
It's really difficult for me to read Spider-Man, of all things, because the way that Peter Parker acts in a lot of his storylines, even up until now, it's so cringy. It's so bad. It's like, I'm happy that it seems to be getting slightly better, but like, come on, y'all.
Well, you've read the new Miles Morales one, right?
I love Miles
Morales. So good. Like,
have you seen Spider-Verse? Can we talk about this?
Oh yeah, I watched that.
Okay,
That's the only Marvel that I have watched with my boys.
It's probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. I could watch Spider-Verse every day.
Oh yeah. I'm like, we're trying to decide what to watch, and I'm like, so like, we could watch Enter the Spider-Verse, and they're like, nah, we want to do that, and I'm like, I really want to watch Spider-Verse again. But you know, let's talk a little bit about what's doing good work, because it's like, let's not be the problem by only talking about the problem.
Sure.
Because I want to say, and here's a great thing. You talked about kid shows where it's like, or any show where it's like, hey, you could solve this problem if you talked about it. You know, and once you realize that, like, it's like the only, and I will say, a piece of drama where all of the tension goes away if only one person would say one thing to one other person. That's some of my least favorite storytelling. It strikes me as like kind of contrived and, now that being a complication of a complex relationship, sure. But like when your whole plot and everything hangs on it for so long, it's just stagnant and frustrating, and not in a pleasant way. I remember I really enjoyed She-Ra. And it had
the new one.
yeah, the new one. And there was one moment in particular where I straight up, I mean, I cry at anything these days, but one moment in particular where somebody says to She-Ra, spoiler alert, right? It's towards the end, and says, "You are more than what you can do for other people." And I'm sitting there with my boys, and I just straight up like start kind of just weeping. And I'm like, I can't explain to them why this is hitting me so hard, because like it's just really hard to articulate. And I'm glad that they can understand why it's hard for me. And I remember somebody else once saying, they're like, "Oh, I love She-Ra, and it would be one of my favorite shows if I'd never seen Steven Universe."
Okay. Yeah.
Because what they said, and they're like, and She-Ra, again, to be clear, is very good, does so much good work. It is so fun and subversive and clever and sweet. And I love Bo. Bo is the best for so many reasons. But their point is fair. It's still, because they watch so much Steven Universe, they watch She-Ra, and then they say, and they're like, "Just tell this person the thing that you're thinking, and then everything's okay."
Nope, we got to have a will they, won't they situation for 5 seasons. We need it.
Yep. And then now, and again, spoiler alert, right? There is a will they, won't they a little bit, but it's more like these people are learning who they are slowly. They're figuring out what is their relationship really? How do they really feel about themselves and each other? That's not the bad thing. That is character development. That's self-realization. That's growth. That's what a story should do. But then, like, when you have a realization, or if there's just one piece of information that will keep you from making terrible mistakes and people don't share it, that's the bad version. Anyway. But
Pat, I got to give you a recommendation, though.
Okay, but you save it for, because I'm going to put a bow on this one. But in Steven Universe, things happen, and then like things get bad, and then people talk about it, and then things are better, and then everyone learns and grows and moves on, and then guess what? There's still another bad thing that can happen, and then they talk about it again, and then everybody learns and grows and moves on, and then guess what? There's another thing that can happen. There's always new sources of conflict and tension that can be had. You don't have to make everything be bad just because people don't talk. You want to show people working through their trouble. And you want to model that behavior, especially in a kid's show. And before your recommendation, I also want to say, P.S., everyone out there doing stories, you think you need conflict and tension because that's what everyone was taught. In every, like when we examine stories, I learned about person versus person, versus world, whatever. But all of the story shapes are verses, which implies conflict. And they're like, without tension, you don't have a story. Without conflict, you don't have a story. But guess what? That simply isn't true. And I can prove it conclusively because I remember and some of you have heard this story before, my older boy I told him stories all the time, and he loved the story of the Big Bad Wolf, which is just narrative gold for children, right? You have repetition, you have really good special effects, the huffing and puffing, very good. And so you do this, and, and then, we would tell it, and then he'd say, tell it again. And I would tell it again, a little different, because I always made sure to vary the stories. And then he says, again, because like at this point, he's like a little more than two, like two-ish. And he says, again, but can you do the big nice wolf? Right? Now, what does this show? He's like, imagine this happening now in a Hollywood setting. Because what this boy is doing is giving notes. He's like, hey, sweetheart, I love it. This whole thing, wolves, pigs, it's great. You got like huffing, puffing, very good. Our tech people are going to be all over the huffing and puffing, and we love it. Repetition, very good. Gives a good hook for the people without very good attention span. Different types of houses, very tangible, very understandable. The word usage, very good. Short sentences, perfect. There's intelligent beings killing and eating each other. We're wondering why you made that choice. Could you do all of these good things and maybe have someone not eat another someone violently? Could we have a big, nice wolf? And this is what my boy was asking for. And I told him that story. And he was like, yeah, that again. And again, this defies all common everything that we've been taught and told about narrative, not just story, not just books, not just whatever. It's that, hey, nobody needs to die. Nobody needs to be threatened with death. You don't need a graphic fucking montage of like pig guts being strewn around. In fact, people with a lot of empathy, even children who have not yet been poisoned by the world, are like, I just don't want to see anyone hurt. That's our baseline state. And so, and if you need other proof, if you're here and you've read my books, like, there's no plot there. Like, what's the conflict? There's a little bit of like, there's a guy and he wants to get into a library and then he can't, and then he buys a shirt. That's the plot of Name of the Wind. Like, and is there some conflict? Yeah, like Ambrose kind of gets in his business. But truth be told, I added that later to sort of like, to help those of you who have been ruined by these stories your whole life, and you can't get off unless you have conflict. Because some people do need that now. It's sort of like, if you eat hotter and hotter food your whole life, eventually you can only eat hot food. Otherwise you can't feel feelings anymore. Like, what if we maybe didn't slowly like ramp up the energy of these stories so that like 8-year-olds are watching like Jedi kill other Jedi and they're like, oh, well, I guess sometimes a person with a laser sword attacks you and you die forever.
And if we're going into Star Wars, I'm going to need an entire hour on Last Jedi. And I know you haven't seen that one yet.
Ah, that's right. I haven't.
Also, like to kind of build off that, I want to revisit. I'll talk about this in a very non-spoilery way, but there's a scene in the final season of Schitt's Creek. I keep talking about Schitt's Creek, where there's a relationship that I feel like for a full season and a half, you can see is kind of falling apart or is kind of not progressing with any forward momentum. And there's a scene with the two characters in that relationship, and all they do is talk about how they need to split up, and that's okay. And they're happy for the other person. And they literally talk about it as two level-headed adults. And I'm the first time I saw it, I started crying there in the middle of it. And my wife looks at me and she's like, it's a good scene. And I was like, it's a good scene because this is just how people should act.
Right.
Like people should just, like, if this was any other, if this was Riverdale and CW, which I love for completely trashy other reasons, this would be like a 3 episode long blow up. Somebody would, you know, like cheat on somebody else, or there'd be a piece of information the other person doesn't have, and there'd be a car crash. I'm basically describing Felicity season 3 right now. But the fact that it was the first time on television where I saw people talk about their feelings and talk about it in a constructive way. If I had seen that show when I was 15, I probably would not have listened to as much emo music as I did as a teenager, which I love emo music, but at the same time, kind of destructive in some ways. It was just so good to see people talking as level-headed adults, and I absolutely loved it.
It's like I have thought if I had watched Steven Universe as a kid,
Yeah, same thing.
you know, instead of, man, and I enjoyed it, but Xanth, oof a doof, you know, but Steven Universe, yeah, it's like and right now I'm thinking of not only the stories, not only the plot arcs where people who thought that they were enemies turn out not to be enemies. You know, it's just I just wish I could find Rebecca Sugar and like give her like $100 and a cake and say just thank you for like this will help so many people for so long in ways that even they will never understand. Oh, and I'll also say, if you, like, and again, this isn't just movies. This goes way back. Think about, you know, way back in the day, the entire Arthurian legend. Where does all the conflict come apart? What causes the destruction of the golden city on a hill, right? It's that, like, Guinevere, like, likes a dude. And to be fair, Lancelot, French, hunky, very deft, dude's
The first himbo?
dude's fit, you know? Like, and they got a thing for each other. And then, so, like, they get down with it. And then Arthur, you know, like, walks in and he sees them there and he's like, how about I destroy civilization because my feelings are hurt? You know? And that's ultimately what he does. What if, now come, have this thought journey with me. What if Arthur, coming in, he went, oh, two people that I love each other, you know? And he's like, also they're very sleepy because obviously they have just like fucked like angry raccoons. So I'm gonna give them a little space here, right? And then later he's like, so I am a little hurt that maybe we didn't talk about this, but also, you know, like, I want you to be happy. How can we make this work? Or better yet, right? What if Arthur had been like, hey, scooch over. I want some of this action, right?
We can all engage in this.
Imagine, just seriously stop. Take a second. Just take a deep breath in through your nose. Everybody out there, just stop, think, and just, and imagine a world where in the 1400s, that was the story where Arthur then, like, snuggled up next to two of his best friends, and, like, it was a little awkward, and they had a nice talk, and then they got, like, all kinds of delightfully, consensually freaky, and then, you know, and they formed a stable polytriad, and then, and then maybe, why not Merlin? Merlin's got to know, he understands time backwards or something. That's hot. And then that's the series of TV that I want to watch, or that's the fanfic I want to read that I guarantee is out there. But now imagine, because once you acknowledge that as a possibility, you realize that 80% of all stories you've ever experienced, the complicating B plot is a love triangle. And the thing is, I know people who are in love triangles that are very functional and stable and everybody's so happy, right? And a love triangle isn't a bad thing. What's bad is bad communication, dishonesty, or breaking promises. And so I'm not saying that Gwen and Lance should have done this, because there was probably either some implicit or explicit agreements between Guinevere and Arthur. I think they were married, and marriage implied a lot of things back in the day. Technically what should have happened is they should have gotten to a point, and then one or the other or both of them is hey, I really respect my husband. He's really important to me. Kind of a political marriage, but I owe him honesty here. And so let's three of us have a talk about how we can make this work. And then everybody gets busy with Merlin and who else? Who else is? Get some Nimue in there, right?
Honestly, I'm stuck on kissing a wizard. I would love to kiss a wizard.
Who doesn't want to kiss a wizard? Hey, everybody, who wants to? No, let me do it. Let me do it. We're gonna clip this here, right? Hold on. You get some color in my cheeks. Hey there. Anyone out there want to kiss a wizard? Fuck, no, I can't say it. Can't say it seriously.
Hey girl, you ever want to make some magic?
Oh, wizard. Oh man, wizards gotta have the best pickup lines.
Right? Amazing pickup lines. You want to know why? Because the wizard's in control of the lighting. The wizard can easily just influence the lighting of a situation and give it kind of that night eyes situation. Oh, it'd be great.
Okay. What I want...
I'm so pissed I'm not a wizard.
It does suck for the rest of you. What I want, though, Aaron, is...
How dare you?
Give me your best, worst wizard pickup line. All sins are preemptively forgiven for this.
Oh, my goodness. I'm not good at pickup lines as a human.
Best, worst. The worse,
marriage.
The worse, okay. The better.
All right.
Chat. You can play along. I'll do one too. Chat, you can play along, but no read in the chat because that'll spoil you. I want to hear your best. Here, I'll start. I'll start with the bad one. It'll take the pressure off you, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Ready? I cast magic missile.
Well done. Is that a staff in your pocket, or you just happen to see me?
No, here. Okay.
I put on my robe and wizard hat. You want to see what's under these robes? You just have to speak the incantation. I don't know. I'm bad at this, Pat. You put me into the worst situation. The worst situation possible.
Okay, how about... no, here, I'll help you out again. We'll get you there because I'm just saying, Aaron, this is a world of... Yeah? We live in a world of infinite possibility. And I know you want to be a wizard. But here's the thing. How do you know that you aren't and you just haven't realized it? Also, maybe in the future you could get a genie wish. And then you could be a wizard. So we need to get you ready for this so that you do not deprive the rest of the world the opportunity to kiss a wizard who would be you. So let me do another one. Mm-hmm. Hey, girl. Do you want to See a use for Tensor's floating disk you've never thought of before. I almost made it all the way through that, right? Let me do another one. Hey there. I can do a lot of things with just the somatic components. I am good at this. I'm good at wizard pickup lines.
I got one.
Okay.
I got one. Hey, girl. Also, all these lines have to start with, hey, girl.
I'm going to start doing some with, hey, boy. Hey, dude. Yeah.
Hey, man. Double, toil and trouble. We'll make the bed rock and the walls into rubble. I feel okay about that.
Hey, my dude, they say that the wand chooses the wizard and mine's chosen. Right? So that's best yet. Like,
we talked about this one the other day, but hey, boy, let's put the romance back in the necromancy.
yeah.
And raise those bones.
Oh no! Oh, see, like, hey, baby, I put the neck back in necromancer. See, I mean, well, that's a little dated because necking.
6 from the French judge. Okay.
See, but necking used to be you just like smooch a lot, right? But that was the 50s, right? This wizard
girl,
is
let's
old.
go down to the malt shop and neck.
Hey, wizards are almost by definition old, and let's not engage in ageism here. If a wizard, you can't tell me, Aaron, if a wizard was like, hey, want to go have a malt, you can't tell me you wouldn't share 2 straws in that malt, because he does need a straw, because otherwise his beard would get in the milkshake and it would be.
It's true.
Yeah. Also, I want that picture. Everyone, I want that picture of Aaron and a wizard sharing a malt. Somebody draw that for me.
What about, hey girl, I'm a diviner. Now get in this recliner.
Oh,
that I guess that implies that you're making out on a lazy boy. Whatever.
I mean, I would be impressed if anyone could do it in a recliner. That would be.
Could.
I could. But I'm a sex romancer. Aaron, you missed it. I said sex romancer.
Oh no, I got it. Trust me.
No, I thought it was good, and then I said it again, and now I wish I hadn't drawn attention to it. Oh, hey baby, what's your thaco? Because I want to hit that. God, Aaron.
Hey girl, can I get into that spell slot?
Ooh, well, yeah, no, that's your winner.
Very forward.
That's your winner.
Forward.
That's your winner. That's your best worse. You nailed it. I am legitimately angry because I first off, I can't flirt. I am never aware when anyone is interested me in any sort of romantic way. It's just utterly invisible to me. I have never successfully flirted, I just don't have that skill set. Certainly never done a line on anyone. You probably don't, that's not a phrase, is it? You don't do lines on people. See, this is how much I don't.
Lines on a fishing rod.
I think you do lines on a mirror. But what I'm saying is that now I know I can do like wizard D&D like come ups and like.
I have a good one. Wait, I have a good one.
Okay, hit me.
Hey girl, my profession may be a medium, but I'm definitely a large.
Oh, no. Aaron, you hit your stride, but now I feel like I have doomed all humanity. I feel like you're there, you're ready, but also I feel like I do feel bad at what I have wrought.
Yeah, Liz is going to be messaging you very.
Aaron. Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron.
Yeah. What?
So, I don't know if you've ever, like back in the day, enjoyed any of Jenna Marble's videos.
Oh, I love Jenna Marbles.
There was some good stuff there, but she had something. she's like, really, whoever uses a pickup line, no one you would ever want to actually be around. Because like to walk up to someone and say something overtly sexual, no. But she's like, I like hookup lines. You're with a person in a relationship, and then you do the line. So like, and again, because then, and you're, and not to spoiler alert, but like, are you with anyone? I will now allow you to say whether or not you are in a relationship, and you can share whatever you like.
Oh yeah, I'm married. Love my wife. She's great.
Cool. So you're married. That means literally she cannot escape you, right?
Much to her dismay. Yeah,
So
like probably once a week, I'm like, you chose this.
So Aaron, what this means is that you can do these. You can do these. And Aaron, it turns out you're good at it. Also, Aaron, you need, the weekend's coming up. And I'm just saying, I know that Saturday's your date night. And like, you're probably gonna, I don't know what you kids do these days. I imagine you're,
we go down to the malt shop.
That's
what we do.
Malt shop. You probably play Pogs. Is that what? I don't know.
We actually play a lot of video games. So that's probably going to be the thing.
Okay. Well, so while you're there, you know, you need to wait for it, right? Wait for that lull in the conversation. Then you need to just kind of like look over, and you just need to like lay one of these like right out there, and then you gotta tell me how it goes over.
I'm gonna paint the picture of what's gonna happen. Okay. So what's gonna happen is Saturday night, the mood's gonna be right, and like everything will be exactly as it should be, and I'm gonna be thinking about these pickup lines, and I'm gonna
no hold on. You gotta set the stage here. You say the mood's right, but like what's I mean, is this a comfy couch? Is this a love seat? Is this like are you like what game are you playing? Is this some Dark Souls, or are you like some I mean anything can sound sexy if you say it kind of slowly in a deep voice.
We'll be on the couch, and the dog will be in the other room.
Oh,
the sun will be down. We'll just finish a game of Returnal or Destiny, talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'll raise my arm, put it around her shoulder, and I'll recall this very sensual chat we're having. I'll look deep into her eyes, and I'll just say, "Dick Wizard!" I'll fuck it up real bad. It'll be real bad.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, in an intimate moment, just staring deeply into the eyes of the person you love and exclaiming "Dick Wizard." Everyone out there, here's your homework. If you have a partner and you're looking to spice it up, I mean, and here's the thing. This is, I would argue that this is pretty gender inspecific. You do not need to possess a dick, and
No.
neither does your partner. I would say merely the phrase itself, I suspect it would be a powerful aphrodisiac. And here's what we'll do. So I'll say, if you have somebody to do this, now, here are the rules, right? I'm looking directly at you in the chat, you watching this. If you have a partner, and I'm just gonna lay down some guidelines, because let's be fair, you're watching this stream, that means you make bad choices. So,
you could be doing anything else.
You could literally be doing so many other things. But so here's the thing. You, and by if you have a partner, I mean you have engaged in more than 4 solid hours of conversation, not relating to any work or extraneous projects. It's just conversations with you and the other person about each other, and you've been together for at least 3 weeks. Okay, I'm not trying to.
That's a good cutoff.
I'm not telling you what a relationship is. I am telling you the parameters for this experiment. If it's below that, or what I don't want here, and I am ready to give some serious dad eyes. I don't want you to go up to somebody on the street and scream "Dick Wizard," because then
No.
I will ban you from reality because I am a wizard.
Yeah.
You will have to go to the special hell for the people that talk in the theater. And so, but if you are in a relationship, you have a week. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is you have a week. Now, the thing is, I'll say this. I'm going to create an exemption, 2 exemptions. One of them is, if you have a previous relationship that is perhaps not like a long-standing relationship, but perhaps there were you're friends with someone, or you have, and at some point in the past you've engaged in pleasant consensual friction, let's say, right?
Consensual friction.
Consensual friction was the name of my ska band in high school.
Consensual friction was the name of the sex ed course I took at Catholic grade school.
Consensualfriction.yeet.
Ooh,
pink frictions. I forgot about the pink frictions. But anyway, here's the thing. What I'm saying is that if you have like a fuck buddy, right? You like, that's also legitimate because
a fuck buddy would be the best person to scream "Dick Wizard" at.
Best person. Now, you could use this during the foreplay. You could use this to effectively, but here's really, and I want to leave you some room for craft and artistry. But somebody just sent me a message. I guess what it was. Does
it say delete your account?
No, it says Dick Wizard.
Very good. Who's watching this? I know people are in the chat, but I didn't realize. Oh no.
I suddenly, I'm like, oh no, how many people are listening to this madness? 500. Well, I'm in for it now.
Well, sorry, Disco Elysium.
Sorry, Disco Elysium. Anyway, but I will say here are some options you should consider. One, just like if you're kind of canoodled up, right, and just consider gently in the ear. You'd be like, "Dick Wizard."
Oh man, I'm getting texts now too.
So now that's one option. Now, and again, you're going to learn something right there. You're going to learn something about yourself, and you're going to learn something about this other person. Because if they're like, "That's right," and you're like, "Whoa, no, I thought you were going to laugh," but now it turns out they're into it. You're going to have a fucking adventure. And this is not level 1 to 3 adventure either. This is a high level adventure you're going to have. Now,
this is a tier 3 spell. Yes.
So now the other thing is that you can do is I would love to hear the story of like you're doing the pink frictions, right? And like then with no context. And here's the thing. Here's what's out of bounds. You can't say, "Hey, so I kind of made a bet," or a guy on the Pat Rothfuss told me to say this. No, that's out of bounds. That's cowardly. It's cowardly. It defeats the whole purpose of the science we're about to do.
We accept no liability.
Yes. Also, what is the thing that we say so we can't be sued?
We can't be sued. I'm just putting that out right now. It's entrapment.
If
you try to sue us, it's entrapment.
Right. If you do this to a cop, it's entrapment. But like in the midst of whatever your pink friction is, just holler. And like I would say, you could bellow, you could exclaim, but I would like to encourage a holler. And
Could you foos ro da it?
um boy, I'm getting some real mental imagery here.
I've so much to say.
Yeah. So also I'll say when we harvest this video, we had a pretty intelligent discussion about like the ethical responsibility of the storyteller.
Oh, I'm not cutting them up.
Let's
The
separate.
whiplash is going to be real.
Let's separate that. How about this? I will compromise. You can refer to these paired videos as part 1 and part 2, but they need 2. One of them is the ethical responsibility of the storyteller. The second one is Dick Wizard Science.
Dick Wizard Science.
.com.
I have a question.
Yes.
So the origin of the Dick Wizard implies a Dick Warrior, a Dick Rogue, a Dick Paladin. If you had to make a party of 3, what Dick characters would you want?
Oh, I want a party of 3. I mean, for the classical D&D party, you do need at least 4. But now I will say the Dick thief is very problematic.
Thief is terrifying. Like, please don't utter the word dick thief at me, because I will have nightmares for days. But I do think the one I'm most intrigued by is the idea of a Dick Ranger. A Dick Ranger also sounds like a real cop name.
Dick Ranger is a pulp hero.
Yeah. Dick Ranger goes to the national parks and tries to beat up bad villains. But Dick Bard sounds great. Dick Artificer sounds super good. Dick Dwarven Fighter is very good.
I don't know if I'm proud or sad of what we're doing here.
Everyone employ me.
Here, somebody in the chat. Berserker. Dick Berserker is, oh boy. You know, Dick Necromancer also, I mean, that's a person who's going to have.
Sorry, Dick Berserker.
Dick Berserker.
Tattoo, put it on my grave. That'd be amazing.
Oh, well, see, I will say Dick Dwarven Fighter would have the ability cock block. Somebody here, thank you, Python Boot. Dick Paladin, I think that would be the technical in 5th edition. That's now called a Wangadin. I can do better. I can do better at that. Dick Paladin would be a. No, I can't do better. I don't think. I think we could make an argument for Wanglock.
What about? Oh, fuck you, Wang Warlock. I think Wanglock.
Oh yes. No, okay, no. Everybody in the chat had the same beautiful idea.
Paladin.
Everyone, so good. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad that you're consensually engaging in this experiment with me.
What about the Concoctor?
Ooh, Schlongadin is not bad. A druid. You wouldn't be a druidic, but you would practice druidic arts. There's another. Done. Yeah. I do feel. See now. Now we do need to.
Could you issue an edict? Too much reaching? Might be reaching. I had a whole list of things I actually needed to go over with you on the stream today, because there's some actual serious things we need the chat to help us with.
Okay, so now we could easily spend an entire hour making genital related D&D puns, and I'm not saying that would be time wasted, but I am saying that we're not going to do that. And so instead, now we're going to throw up. It's like, hey, whoever's editing this video, now this is a new video.
There's no editing.
Announcement. I have to say the new Murderbot book is out. And if you're not reading Murderbot, you are not participating. You're not living your best life. Ultimately, I will say I have reread Murderbot more than any other series I have read as an adult. I am re-listening to all of the audiobooks in preparation to listen to the new one that did come out on Tuesday. So if you're a fan of Murderbot, first week sales are actually quite important. So maybe consider going and picking those up. If you're a real fan and you've already got it and you've already finished it, maybe consider giving Murderbot a review wherever you review books, telling your friends, bumping it around. Murderbot is a source of joy and good in the world. And so
Also, you can finish the book in a day. It's not a long read. It's really good.
Yeah. Okay. Fast and Tilt. They are not all novellas. The first four are novella. Then there comes a novel, a longer one. And I think the new one is a novella again. Which I just love any sort of Murderbot. I'll take whatever comes at me. Okay. So that was the one thing I really wanted to say is just Murderbot's the best. What do you got?
Okay. So it came to my attention, fucking Scott. Scott is the source of all of our derision here at Eladin. And I probably should have thought of this, but one of our mods, Scoys, his name is Scott. And so I don't want to talk bad about Scott on stream so much because I don't want people to think it's Scoys. We love Scoys. Scoys is super good. So I think that we should rename Scott. And I've actually written down a list of names I wanted to throw at you to rename Scott. I'm just going to throw them out there and you can give me like a quick yes or no. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to rename our bad employee Scott. Here are some of the names that I'm suggesting. Kano, Liu Kang, Raiden, Aloysius, Johnny Cage, Sub-Zero, Sonya Blade. Oh, fuck. I'm looking at the cast list for Mortal Kombat. Sorry. Okay. For real. What about the names Lemmy, Harold, or what about Buttman? Because we could get away calling Scott Buttman all day long. I think he'd be into it.
The thing is, in our employment contract, we have certain rights. It's a non-standard contract. For those of you that don't know, everyone that works here at Rothko does have to sign a contract. It's a little atypical. And there are certain provisions, including that I can at any point give any one of the staff a haircut. I can, I think we've modified it recently due to feedback from the HR consulting firm we brought in. I can come into your house and eat out of the fridge, but only between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m. and only once every 6 months.
It's so annoying.
Well, it's so annoying that it's only every 6 months because like I don't buy groceries and you guys have a lot of leftovers, and this was a service I provided for free, and I feel, well, anyway, it's done.
Yep, it's terrifying. It's like the purge. Like we never know when this is going to happen. We have to prepare every night.
Yeah, but we ultimately, what I'm getting at is that we haven't written in that we get to rename an employee. I don't think we actually have the contractual right to do that.
But I really don't want to mix up Scoys and Scott. We love one, we hate the other.
Well, I mean, we call Scoys Scoys.
Yeah, but like I just don't want them to hear us talking about a Scott and then it had that bleed through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, you know how many famous errands are talked about terribly online, and I have to receive that all the time.
And the thing is, any name we pick, someone will have.
So we have to make up a name.
Well, I made up Scott.
Scott has been a name for a while, I think.
No, it's Scott. It has an apostrophe in it.
Oh, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, technically, it's a glottal stop. Scott.
Oh, a glottal Scott.
Yes.
Okay.
Glottal Scott. I mean, strange coincidence. Glottal is his first name, and he's just actually from Scotland. Which now that I'm thinking of it, that's probably, it might be a little insensitive for us to refer to him as the Scot. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to kick this to HR. What else is on your list?
Wanted to congratulate Mass. Another one of our mods got their second shot. So I just wanted to say I hope that they're relaxing.
Woo-woo.
And I hope that they're feeling better today.
Cool.
Third on the list is you made fun of me for liking Pokemon earlier, so I'm gonna play a game with you.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I have got 3 names of Pokemon in front of me.
Oh, can I guess what the game is?
What is it?
Is this a Pokemon or is it a medication?
No, this is just legitimately, is this something Aaron made up, or is this a Pokemon?
Okay, hit me.
All right.
I mean, to clarify, for the sake of the chat, I didn't make fun of Aaron for liking Pokemon. I made fun of the entirety of his taste in all media and games. And also he had mentioned Pokemon recently. We should take that soundbite, that deep, weary sigh, directly into the microphone and make it the text notification sound when Aaron messages me. Okay, give me these things.
All right. Yeah, you got to guess which one is real. Number 1, Jizzabug.
Okay. Can I have
2?
all 3? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you all 3. Number 2, Butt Scrape.
Again, please.
Butt Scrape.
Okay.
Okay. And 3rd, Greninja. I will repeat them.
Hold on, I can do it. It's I'm gonna get right in front of the mic. It's Jizzbug, Butt Scrape, and Greninja.
If you want to pronounce it correctly, it's Jizzabug, Butt Scrape, and Greninja.
And 2 of these are real and 1 of them isn't?
Oh, no, 1 of them is real. I'm not giving you those odds.
And I'm supposed to pick the real Pokemon?
Yeah. You're supposed to pick the real beef Pokemon here.
It's Jizzabug.
Fuck, you're right. All right, well, yeah, I guess Pokemon. All right, cool. I guess everything you say about me is real.
See, names are important things.
Greninja, you toad.
Oh.
It's not Jizzabug. Nobody would name a creature Jizzabug. That's weird.
Please, there's a Garbodor. Jizzbug would be a step up from Garbodor.
Garbodor sounds like garbage door, which a lot of doors are garbage, but Jizzabug is like a bug made of jizz. That's weird, Pat.
Okay, I will stand corrected.
I'm really happy you didn't go for Butt Scrape, because that's a really it actually does sound like it could be Pokemon. But yeah. And last but not least, I got one thing.
Okay.
I want to show. I'm going to put a link in the chat. Should we get these jackets?
Oh,
I'll put it in the Zoom chat for you too. They're definitely sold out for today, but oh man, you can get Kim's jacket.
Oh no.
I know.
The thing is, it's not, I mean, the cut is very good. What is up with
Can you put it like in the call so people can see it on stream?
Give me a second. We're gonna have to talk about some gamer, some male gaze gamer shit here.
If you scroll down, you can see the jacket actually gives you stat increases.
Give me a second. Where am I? Old overlay stream.
Oh no. I just Julia in the chat said Jizzabug is the Dick Wizard's familiar. It's
No.
really
Oh
good.
no.
Halloween.
Oh jeez. Okay.
Also, Essence of Aaron in the chat. I love you. We are two good Aarons. We are very good Aarons.
Okay, here we are. So okay, now first off, this is a very good coat. I
Very
mean,
good coat also exists in your books. Nailed it.
but why? I mean, why this particular wayfish? Like it like wearing a net mesh thing? This is weird, right? Right, chat? Like, I
It
feel
is a
weird
little odd.
looking at this picture. I feel like
It
an
is a little
old
weird.
perverted man, and I don't like that.
I mean, but I'm not going like I don't know who designed this. I don't know who did this, but like if that's how they want to dress, cool. I'm
No,
looking
no,
at the
like
jacket.
get down with your bad self. I'm just wondering, as a product thing, like, is this? No, this can't be a Disco Elysium cosplay because I am virtually certain that you can't see Kim's underpants.
Well, it's just Kim's jacket.
Yeah, but they've put it on somebody,
You
and I
play a
get.
character that doesn't wear pants and wears a tie for a shirt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but and see, here's the thing. I just as a person who, when I look at a young waifish woman, it makes my brain dumb, you know, and I hate I hate that, and also I hate that it's constantly used to try to like, you know, like perpetuate male gaze stuff. And again,
All right, I'm
if this was a person who got Kim's jacket and then they wore it like this to a con, I would love their style and I would support them fully. But this is a person who is dressed up to sell a jacket with sexuality, and then I'm irritated. Kim would not stand for this, is what I'm saying.
I'm on your side now because I looked at the black version of the jacket and they have a dude just standing around in weird cargo pants, fully clothed.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it's very valid.
No, hold
I
on.
didn't see the other jacket. Now I'm like, oh yeah, this is male gazy.
No, hold on. I wanna. I'm very. I'm doing some. Hold on. What's this? Zaum. Oh, this is actually from.
Yeah, this is their website. They release these jackets in batches.
Okay, now. See, yeah, like this is the opposite of a cute anime girl. I mean, no offense to this dude. I wish I like if my hair and I had a chiseled jaw like that, even though I think he's older than me.
He's very upset.
And he's also pulling a very good mood, right? But if you want parody here, you better put like the
Ashless chaps.
yeah,
Yes.
I want a brute aftershave model. His hair needs to be black as coal. I want to be able to fucking cut a tomato on his jawline. And he needs to be so deeply dewy-eyed. I effectively want Bast with no shirt under the jacket, and he's and yeah, wearing assless chaps. Also, could somebody just draw this for me for myself, and we'd make a poster out of it and sell it for Geeks Doing Good?
I do we need matching jackets?
I don't feel qualified to. Also, the cut of this is very good, but I am fat, and so it wouldn't look good on me.
No, Pat, I think it's worth a shot.
It would come up to it would the bottom of this jacket would be at my belly button. And so I would look like a fat man in a little coat.
See, this is one of those things where like it's kind of good that I am not on camera because my body is 80% legs. So this would look really good on me.
Oh, see? Now, I mean, I think what we have then is an opportunity to like we can build this into your new job description. Like you can get a jacket like this as sort of a I don't know, performance incentive of some sort.
Okay, real beef. I worked at Groupon for 8 years, and they would give you clothing to commemorate how long you worked there.
Like
And
Groupon clothing?
well, so after a year, you got a green track jacket that you got to have your name embroider on it. And so I had mine embroidered with Mega Man. Like, isn't your name Aaron? And I said, shut up and give me the jacket. The next year, they gave you green track pants, and you essentially just like got decked out as a living billboard for Groupon. But I mean, if y'all want to say for a year with Eladin, you get a Disco Elysium jacket. I'll stay here for 5 years and complete the outfit.
And see, I'm also wondering, I see here, um, you get +1 to interfacing and then
Mm-hmm.
Volta Dumar.
Distant enemy of himself.
But I don't remember Volta Dumar as a stat.
Maybe it's coming up. Maybe we haven't gotten there yet.
That's interesting. But also, now see, why is this one? This is hand-eye coordination and Volta Dumar.
Airman Kitsuragi and Crewman Kitsuragi.
Okay, but by the way, Fat Man in a Little Coat, I think, is a reference to an old. It was a
Tommy
Chris,
Boy.
yeah, Chris Farley. But also being unfortunately accurate when it comes to my physique.
I do look like a potato when I try to model clothes, and I don't know that I would feel good about this jacket, but I think the jacket would give me better stats,
No,
and it might make me a better employee.
Aaron, I think you would nail this. I think you'd nail this code. I think you would be. Hold on. Why is nothing happening on the stream? Why did I ruin everything? Okay, there's me. There's this.
Oh, we're in the void. We're in the void in disco. We're like, he remembers that memory and just blacks out.